stand by for manual transmission. In 3, 2, 1.
07 Commanders, Nuggets, and Empty Triangles. Manus Dextra here with a video I never thought I'd make. But here we are. So let's just get right to it. On a recent live stream, Frontier Developments revealed that they are finally going to address what for many players, including myself, is the biggest issue with the game, and that is the engineering material grind. Finally, after about 6 years of complaints and driving away a good portion of the player base, they're going to address the issue in an update scheduled to go live on August 7th, 2024. This Reddit post does a pretty good job of summarizing what the update will do, and you can find a link in the description. It's definitely a fun and interesting read. The thing to know here is that after the update, engineering materials should be much more abundant at the usual sources. That, things like the Jameson crash site, Dave's Hope, etc. I guess signal sources and stuff like that as well. And for me, the most important change, the change that would have stopped me from quitting the game about a year and a half ago, they finally made raw materials obtainable as mission rewards as well. Okay, so that's really all you need to know. The rest of the video is just going to be me speculating on how this will impact the game and why they finally did this after all this time. For me, just being able to obtain all materials while doing activities I actually want to do is huge. I stopped playing this game a year and a half ago because I ran out of raw materials and I just couldn't bring myself to waste several hours of my precious recreational time doing the grindy chore of gathering more, so I didn't. I didn't rage quit or anything, I just decided I was never going to clock back in to Space Job Simulator. But now that I can accumulate engineering mats while running assassination and massacre missions, I don't really have much to complain about except for the 6 years it took them to finally do this. And that's not really helpful, so I'm gonna try to control myself. But I am really curious as to what other former and current players think about this update. If you look through the Reddit thread, it seems most folks see this as a positive and very much needed change. But many also see the solution, just tweaking a few numbers in the code, as low effort and lazy, and they wonder why it took them so long to fix the issue. And honestly, that is a valid question, and I think the answer is that FDev didn't want to fix this at all. Material gathering is their main pacing mechanic. It's literally the way they slow you down so that you don't burn through all of their content in a handful of hours. The problem is, many players find the act of gathering materials to be incredibly tedious and unfun, frankly because it is. The devs know this game can be a grindy chore to play. Even if they didn't make it this way on purpose, it is hard to ignore all the videos on YouTube explaining how to circumvent and avoid their grindy game mechanics. I mean, it's an entire subgenre of gaming video unto itself. Hell, more than a few folks have made a career out of it, probably bought cars and houses, and let's face it, even a few mail-order brides. I mean, we are talking about the internet and video games here. I have mostly tuned out of Elite News since I quit playing, but I did hear the small uproar about FDev adding those pre-built engineered chips and selling them for real money in their game store, and I honestly thought that that was the beginning of the end for the game. Not quite pay to win, but most definitely pay to avoid grinding. And that's why I'm extra surprised they're nerfing that material grind now. I think it must be that those pre-built ships aren't selling. If they were, that would just be incentive to make the game even more grindy, or at least not fix the current grind. So I think FDev is finally addressing this issue because the player base keeps on shrinking and nothing else, including those pre-built ships, is gaining them any traction. So they're finally to the point where all else has failed, so they're finally willing to do what a large portion of the community has begged them to do for years. So I really do think this is the best thing they could have done for the game. I think this will bring back players like me who enjoy combat and shipbuilding but are just not willing to put up with that material grind anymore, and I think it will help retain new players who love space and sci-fi but don't want or need a second job. I guess we'll see how this goes, but if this update does what it promises and doesn't contain any secret grindy poison pills, I think I'll reset my game save and give it another go. So anyway, those are my thoughts and feels on the issue, but what do you guys think? If you're an OG player like me, do you see this as a positive or negative? And if you used to play the game, will this bring you back? If you're a nugget or just curious about the game, share your thoughts as well. Will this make you more or less likely to keep playing or trying the game out? Sound off like you got a pair of fingers to type with in the comments below. And until next we meet...
You will now be released from manual control. Mr. Dextra thanks you for your cooperation. You will now be released from manual control. Mr. Dextra thanks you for your cooperation. You will now be released from manual control. Mr. Dextra thanks you for your cooperation.